There's the moment when we're lying on our back in the midst of the cool night, to feel that green grass on our back and look up at this blackness and to be able to see every single star, to see the silhouette of the large trees that surround us. There's something special about camping in the middle of the forest or the wilderness, and it seems like the world just stops. It seems like everything circles in and we see the vastness and the grandness of who God is, and there's something special in that moment. It makes me think of this song, Silent Night, that we so frequently sing during Christmas and especially Christmas Eve. Well, my name is Trent Jenkins. I'm one of our pastors here at North Coast Church, and thanks for joining us on this Christmas Eve. I want to talk to you real quick and read this passage in Luke chapter 2. And it simply says this: "Then there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. They were out in the midst of the darkness, just watching their sheep as any other night would be, probably talking to one another, and all of a sudden, utterly terrified," it says. And I think you would, in the midst of blackness, all of a sudden, there are these bright lights. Now imagine the starry skies, and it says that there was angels, and there's a starry host that outshone any of the stars or the moon or anything. And there they said, "You need to go see," because there was a Savior that was born on this night. So this silent night, why was it so silent? Why was it so holy? Because there was a bunch of other chaos going on. They probably saw all of these caravans of people coming in because for the census, people were going into their hometowns. And it says that the city was bustling. There was no room for Mary and Joseph at the inn. All of this craziness was going on. But yet there was still the sense of peace, still the sense of holiness. It makes me think of a night 13 years ago, in the month of December, when my daughter was born. In the midst of that hospital room and staying up all night, through the night, waiting for her birth, and the doctors and the nurses and so many different things. And then all the craziness happens. And then all of a sudden you hear her little cry. The sound of an infant cry. It made all of the world stand still and stop. And there was this sense of peace in my life at that moment. I was flooded with joy, tears rolling down my face, my wife's face, that something new was happening. And in the midst of this night, in the midst of the craziness of Bethlehem, in the midst of the animals there where Jesus was born, and all of a sudden the cry of a newborn baby, there was a moment of peace. There was something that was taking place in the midst of the universe, that the King of Kings was born. And that moment of peace wasn't just one temporary moment, but it was an eternal moment, because now that peace comes to my life. Every day and every moment I surrender to Him and realize that there is one in control far greater than me. I don't know what your life looks like right now. I know what the world looks like. I know it feels very chaotic and crazy. But what does your life look like right now in the midst of trying to get around and get the gifts and wrapped and going to family members' house or friends' houses and wondering what's going to be taking place with the new year? And it can seem chaotic. And I just want to encourage you to just stop and remember that the reason for this season is Jesus, who brings us peace to our soul because He has reconciled us to God. And that's what matters, is that we're right with Him. In the midst of this chaos, we can find peace and just stop and pause and remember, God, You have all of these things in Your hand, and I am one of them, and You love me. And I surrender my life, my heart, my mind in this moment to You and say, God, have Your way with me. This Christmas Eve, as you sing Silent Night, I want to encourage you that you reflect on the peace that God gives us. And if you'd like to, we have an online service that you can participate with. You can just go to northcoastchurch.com and click on the Christmas Eve video right there. It's a special Christmas Eve service that we've set out just for you. Feel free to share it with family and friends as we go through the Christmas story. Or you can find one of our Christmas Eve services at one of our campuses by finding them right there on our website as well. Merry Christmas, everyone, and we'll see you in the new year.